4 months ago, I created the main character of my game, and as one of you told me in the comments, it's a bit garbage. But months have passed, and now I'm a much more experienced developer, so let's turn this into something more like this, okay? Let's go! And where should we start? That's right, by not creating the character at all and creating a new map instead. Why, you may ask? Well, first of all, because I'm tired of seeing this other map. Second, because I need a place where I can try everything I want to do with the character. And third, because, you know, that's what the cool developers do.
Oh, you don't know where Carlson is? You little bitch.
Anyway, getting back to Bob, I mean, he's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but look at him. Oh my god, does he have a lot of problems. Look at those tiny little arms. So I looked for references and got inspired by Joker's wise work. It's so simple, but at the same time it's so detailed that I had to try to do something similar. So this time there is no need to use like a million softwares to make every single part of the character. Let's just stick to the basics. Just me, Blender and a lot of coffee. After a few days of going back and forth, I ended up with this design, which I rigged and then painted using Substance Painter. This time, I took a lot more time trying to keep a good topology to make the animations look as good as possible. And also, I took care of making the skeleton as close as possible to the Unreal Mannequin skeleton, so in the future I can buy any animation pack and the retargeting process of those animations will be almost perfect. So I did just that. I imported the character into Unreal and retargeted all the advanced locomotion system animations, and did you see that? Nice! Time to work on some locomotion. I already did this on the previous character, so it was relatively easy. I made the character walk, run, dodge and jump, but this time I worked a bit more on the jumping and made the jump animation match the foot you are standing on. And I also changed the landing animation depending on how high you fall. To finish off, I added some new combat animations from an animation pack I bought thanks to my patrons, and cleaned up some of the mess I had in my old blueprints. And I think that's it. The new character is completed, and I must say that it... What the fuck do you mean by that's it? You're telling me you're replacing me? Bob, your greatest creation for this stupid new character? Cringe? What the fuck? He looks stiff as fuck. You know what? You're right, this new character is just as boring as you are. I need to make it much better. So I playtested the shit out of Breath of the Wild and researched how to improve my animations with Unreal Engine, and to my surprise, there are many tools and techniques to achieve these kinds of things that I had no idea about. Let's start with the easiest one, additive animations. I'm just gonna say it, additive animations are amazing. The way it basically works is you take some poses and use them to modify other existing animations. As simple as that, and I'm using that technique extensively. For example, the character now tilts depending on which way he's turning, or depending on whether he's accelerating or decelerating. He also now looks up or down depending on the inclination of the ground he's walking on, and I also added a subtle breathing animation on top of all the other animations. And I have many more ideas, but let's go step by step. But those are all static animations that are made in an animation software and brought into the game engine. And characters in video games need to react in real time to changes in the environment. And that's where Control Rig comes in. Control Rig allows you to, among other things, modify the character's rig data. So basically you take your character, apply a bunch of math and voila! Real-time animation editing. I'm not doing much with it at the moment because, you know, it involves math, but I managed to set up the IK for the legs, so no matter what surface the character stands on, the legs will always adjust correctly. Okay, no, not every time. I'm also using Control Rig to make the character look where the camera is looking at, or look directly at any point of interest near him. It's not that important, but it adds a little more life to the character. And speaking of life, what about death? This time I took a lot more time to set up the physical bodies and constraints for the ragdoll state. They feel a lot better now, and now the character can even get up from the ground no matter what position he ends up in. I only have a small problem with the physics, and that is that when you fall from too high while in ragdoll mode, the characters go through the ground, but anyway, that's a problem for future me. And speaking of physical animations, I also implemented physical hit reactions, so no matter from where the character is hit, his body will always react in an appropriate way. It's a bit strong now for the sake of the demonstration, but it's supposed to be a much more subtle effect. I also plan to add physical interactions with objects in the game, like pushing things or being damaged by heavy moving objects. But this is still a pending task cause I have no idea how to do it, so I have nothing to show you yet. Oh, and don't forget the cloak. Cloth simulation goes brrrr. Great, now the character feels a lot better to control. So I think that's it for now. If you liked this video... Oh my god, could you please stop interrupting this video? Okay, I'll make something, I don't know. So, the last time I tried to do some more complex movement mechanics, I had no fucking idea about math. So this time, I'm not going to make the same mistake.
Miss Freya, so if we try that, then we have the vector B. So now, instead of moving B over here, we can move A in a direction over here. I'm using this word direction, so basically here, we end up with a vector with a length. But you can do this for one dimensional.
Okay, I didn't finish watching the whole video, but I learned a few things, so I'm pretty sure this is going to go better this time. I started making something easy, sliding down hills. The animations suck because, well, I don't know how to animate, but I'll buy decent animations to replace this at some point. This works by checking the inclination of the ground, and if the angle is greater than 45 degrees, the character goes into sliding mode. Pretty easy, thanks Freya. Then I got to work on the gliding. Oh yeah, there is going to be gliding, and after many attempts I made it work. You can go forward, left or right, stop or drop, and after a lot of testing, I think it's really fun. Again, the animations need a little more love, but once I change the animations and add some more particles effects and sounds, it's going to be awesome. I was pretty confident at this point, so I thought, what if I tried to remake the climbing system? I mean, now I know a lot more things than before, so it can't be worse than this. So I deleted the old system and started by re-implementing the base of the movement on irregular surfaces. And hey, it didn't look bad as soon as I hooked up the animations. But wait a minute, I previously implemented a full body 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗏 solver, so I used it to adjust the position of the hands and feet, and it's a lot better now. But I'm not gonna lie, I got a bit over my head and I was getting bored, so I will tackle again this system in the future. And that's all. I think this character is much better than the previous one. Maybe in the future I'll rework it again, but for now we have a lot more important stuff to do. Huge thanks to these generous patrons who contribute to make these videos and the development of my game possible. If you're not one yet, consider becoming one. You too can help me by donating as little as $1. See you in the next video. Oh my god!